What's going on, YouTube? This is Jim Fanis, and today I want to give you guys my first impressions on the game that everybody is talking about, Tom Clancy's The Division. Now, I went ahead and picked up The Division on the PC because after seeing a graphical comparison between the Xbox One version, the PlayStation 4 version, and the PC version, the results pretty much spoke for themselves. Not a lot of my PS4 friends seem to be interested in this game, which is kind of surprising. All of my PC friends were. I think that has a lot to do with the fact that the Division largely in part is like Destiny, but on Earth. So my PlayStation 4 friends who are still heavily invested in Destiny don't really want to start over again, as opposed to my PC friends who did not get to experience Destiny. Most of them are just PC only. So this was exciting and new to them. I love games in general. I'll buy anything. I'll play anything. So I just kind of went where the herd was going. So graphically, like I said, and I noticed this back when they were doing the beta, both the open and the closed beta, that the PC version was superior. But I mean, would you expect any different? It still looks amazing on both the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4. You just don't get that 60 frames a second and that high draw distance, which does make a difference to me because I do like to snipe occasionally, and having that extra draw distance and just being able to see a little bit further sometimes seals the deal on some amazing, amazing gameplay. Anyways, I went ahead and started up a character a few days late. I didn't get the game until Thursday. The game came out on Tuesday. I didn't get it until Thursday because I ordered late, and Best Buy had to ship me the gold edition. I was not able to pick up the gold edition in store. It had to be shipped to me, and there was an issue with shipping. It didn't come to my house, blah, blah, blah. So I missed a few days. But I'll tell you what, I pretty much caught up where the rest of my crew is at. That's in the 15, 16 level range, but it's definitely enough now to talk about everything that is cool about this game and everything that is not so cool about this game. If you did get to play the beta and you did experience it, again, whether it was the open beta or the closed beta, you're going to find the game remains largely unchanged. There have been some minor issues that have come into play, so if you haven't had a chance to check out my initial impressions video I did some time ago, you may want to go ahead and check that out later to see how it really compares to this, but I could save you the time. It's pretty much the same. There are a few differences, but I'm going to treat it from the beginning because I don't like to go into a game with, saving your save file over from the beta to the real game. Not that you could do that, but it's always interesting to see how things play out. By the way, I will be as spoiler-free as possible, but I'm sure there are some minor things that may come out. So if you really just want to live in a cave, don't listen anymore. Division, obviously, if you haven't figured it out by now, takes place during Black Friday, where this deadly virus is unleashed, and all these sleeper agents, known as the Division, are brought into the fold to try to reclaim Manhattan. The cool thing is that the game does not actually start in Manhattan. You get a little bit of a tutorial area somewhere else, and I like that. I think that's a really cool touch, and it definitely lends itself to sequels, expansions, that sort of thing. Very similar to The Walking Dead takes place over kind of in the Atlanta area. Fear the Walking Dead is way over in the West Coast. I could totally see like the Division LA, the Division New York, the Division Chicago. Now, having a lot of buildings and downtown and really like urban area definitely makes this game amazing for that very reason. However, I think in an open world setting it would work very well. I compare and contrast this to the Dying Light expansion, The Following, which is basically this very rural, open kind of. I mean, there's some buildings, but for the most part, it's out in the farm area. You drive around in a dune buggy and mow down zombies. Now, there's no zombies in the Division, but the point is that post-apocalyptic framework definitely lends itself well to both, urban and rural areas. So I could totally see that going in other directions as the time goes on. Now, you do get to walk through some buildings, so the urban area isn't just a pretty landscape. The fact that the roads are a grid helps significantly when you're trying to navigate from place to place. A lot of vehicles, a lot of building entrances and that sort of thing provide cover. Like I said, you can go in certain buildings, not all of them. I think this is a missed opportunity on this game to really open up that open world experience even more so. There is a lot of loot and stuff that you can find in stores, but they're pretty clearly marked with like big giant doors like come inside here. But it's weird that you may go down a block and not find any open buildings or any doorways that you can explore, and then go one block over and suddenly there's a bunch of, things to look and check out. So I think that's a bit of a missed opportunity on those guys. And I understand that maybe technologically that couldn't happen. I don't know. I don't think it was sheer laziness. There may be a reason behind it. I'm not entirely sure, but it would have been nice because you would really get a sense of being a scavenger and a hunter, because that's really what this game is trying to convey, at least to me, that you're sent into this area, happen to be Manhattan, that has gone to just complete hell, and it's up to you to fix it. So there's people already out there that have established strongholds, in a sense, that have taken certain parts of the city, and you're going to try to fight that back to, encompass it in this like safety net so that everybody can come back out and live peacefully. So there are some cool enemy strongholds and that sort of thing that you get to go through, but just going through regular apartment buildings and stuff, I think would have been a lot of fun. So just my thoughts on that. But the missions in of themselves do allow you and do take you in a wide variety of areas, and that is where this game totally shines. And that's one of the reasons why I'm just highly recommending this up front and telling you guys you really need to check it out. If you remember the old school days when there was always a boss battle at the end of every level, this game has it. Now, you have to kind of suspend the RPG belief in the sense that you're going to shoot a guy with hundreds of bullets and he's going to keep coming at you. That's just the way this game works. So there's, Destiny kind of addressed it with aliens. Obviously, aliens are a little bit different than we are in terms of how much damage they can take. But in the Division, everybody's a human. There's no zombies or anything like that. So when you're fighting against another guy and you're standing there and just shooting him, I'm talking 10 to 15 shotgun blasts, point blank to the face, and he's still not dead. People may be turned off by that. I don't know. It doesn't bother me. I know it's an RPG. I understand it's trying to convey that he's some sort of higher level guy than you, and whether he's like a rare and ultimate, he's just stronger, and you just have to work as a team to take him down. And that's what the missions always end with, you fighting some sort of named boss. You learn a lot about that boss throughout the mission. There's a lot of different collectibles, like little cell phone recordings or maps or plans of kind of what they're up to. There's a lot of cool little cutscene type like videos, like as you learn clues about what's happening with the virus, and you learn that each of these people have had some part in it, whether it is a direct relation, like hey, we're going to create a virus to kill you, or whether it's like hey, we're going to do our best to stop it in a really weird, nefarious way. You do get a chance to go through and explore all that, and that's what really kind of sells the story. But like I said, each map is each mission's in a very distinct area, whether you're inside of a steel mill or whether you're inside of an old subway. There's a lot of variety in the location. The enemy types, unfortunately, are pretty much the same, but the bosses are always different, and that's what makes it so much fun. One of the levels you have to go, one of the missions you have to go in is a giant shopping mall. It's like a 2 or 3 story shopping mall with like a giant food court type area in the center, and then all the businesses around the perimeter. And the bosses you have to fight are just so much fun, and they all have different patterns to them. That's what makes it kind of unique. Some of them do different things. They have different kind of special abilities. They summon different ads to help fight. So there is a lot of coordination. If you are nervous that you can't play the game on your own, you can. I've played a lot by myself initially, as most of my friends were already a little bit higher level than I was, and sometimes they did come back and help me. But you can totally go through a mission on your own, no problem. You just have to go a lot slower, and you have to be a lot more ammo conscious. You do get a primary, secondary, and then a pistol, which has unlimited ammo, so you'll never, ever, ever be out of ammunition. But let me tell you, shooting down a boss with a pistol is an effort and frustration because it's a very weak sidearm weapon. It's not meant for heavy lifting whatsoever. It will take you a very long time. So the missions are fun, they're rewarding, you get different types of gear in each mission, you get different snippets of lore. They can really be done for the most part in different orders. different areas unlock as you get higher level up, and because you're just putting together a piece of this puzzle, because you're trying to figure out like where this crime and what has happened is occurring, there's not really a set route like you're going to find a clue that takes you from one place to another. It's going to be very clearly marked at the beginning, you know, the bad people live here, 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 and here. Go forth and figure it out. So it's totally up to you if you want to be like me and just clear the map and collect all the items and beat all the encounters and get all the side missions and upgrade your base, or if you want to just say, I want to know what happens and just blow through the story, which you can. But there's a nice mixture to be had between the two, because sometimes the side missions can get a bit repetitive. Sometimes the main missions may be a little more difficult than you thought you would need. You may need a little bit more, you know, gear leveling, in which you need to kind of take a break and go back. Of course, the dark zone still is a major factor and takes up almost half of the map, maybe like between a quarter and a half of the map. The playable area kind of makes a U around it, and then the dark zone is in the center. And there's multiple entrance and exits, and all the excitement of the dark zone that you may have heard me talk about in the past still exists. If you're not familiar with the dark zone, it is an open world PvP area. If you don't want to fight other players, you don't have to. There's different enemies in there, and the best gear can be found in there. There's really no missions per se. It's just you got to go around and just try to find random NPCs and kill them. The cool thing that they've fixed from the beta to the official launch is that there's a lot more enemy density, which is something we wanted, and there's a lot more named bosses too. I was just walking around and I saw an alleyway and I saw a couple level 14 guys, and I'm like, I'm gonna go take them out. So I set up shop and I start shooting at them, and all of a sudden a boss named Bonnie appears. Now there wasn't any cutscene or any kind of explanation of who Bonnie was, other than she was named boss, but she was completely voice acted. She said different things than other bosses had said, and she had different movesets that other bosses had had. And it was totally random and totally unexpected, and it led into this really epic firefight through the streets. Other players who were nearby heard all the commotion, because the gunfire is, you know, it echoes down streets and that sort of thing. Other people came running over like, what's going on? And just like Rust or some of those other open world games, you have local proximity voice chat. At the time, I happened to be pinned down behind a car just getting machine gunned by these two heavy, fully armored dudes just laying down a significant amount of suppressive fire in my direction. And I was like, oh, hey guys, I'm so glad you guys showed up. You want to help me take these guys out? And we didn't have to party or anything, but we played nicely together, and we all got a piece of the loot, and we all separated and went on our merry way. The Dark Zone does have that added level of fear, or whatever you want to call it, and that those guys could have easily turned on me. They could have helped me kill the boss. I could have picked up the loot. They could have killed me and taken my loot, gone rogue, and gone off. I was completely alone at that time. They didn't know that. But you will find people that play in pairs and separate and that sort of thing. And yes, you can team up with people. You can be a dick and kill other people. It's kind of up to you. Right now, I think everybody's still in the honeymoon phase where everybody just wants to get more gear. So for the most part, people aren't going rogue on each other, but it only takes one guy, and it just turns into a complete shoot-'em-up bloodbath. And that is where the game really gets tense, in those moments when you call in that helicopter and you're waiting for extraction, just wondering, is anybody around you going to, get froggy? And for the most part, like I said, people are pretty even keel. Now, you do get a slew of abilities and power-ups, which will help you a lot, whether you're in the Dark Zone or not in the Dark Zone. You can pick two. You can map one to each. Well, I use the Xbox One Elite controller, of course. My baby. This is my baby plugged in. See, I love it. I love it. So I use the Xbox One Elite. You get two skills mapped. Whether you have the PC or whether you're playing on a PlayStation 3 stick, a PlayStation 4 stick, keyboard, mouse, joystick, it doesn't matter. You can only have two. So it's not like PC Master Race users get additional abilities. You get to select two at any given time, and those are the two that you use. I have them mapped to my bumpers. So right now I have a very heavy-duty med kit, and I have a turret that shoots flames. It's like a flamethrower turret. So when you throw things down, if everybody's neutral, there's nothing going on. But, when people are like, you think something's going on, you just throw your flamethrower turret down near the extraction point, people tend to kind of like say, whoa, because some of the players may not have that yet. So they're like, what is that? Okay, I don't want any trouble here. So there are some checks and balances that you can put into place, but there are significant other abilities. And by the way, the other cool thing that they've added is those abilities can be modified. So my flamethrower turret could become a pulse turret that constantly scans and shows me where the location of enemies are at. It can turn into, it can explode after it detonate. Like you could set it and it'll time and explode. It could be just a regular turret. There's different perks and there's different attributes for each different ability. And there's a slew of abilities. You get those by unlocking the base of operations, by earning tech points. You invest tech points to upgrade the base of operations. Another really cool touch about this game, your base of operations actually physically grows in size, dimension, and scope as you start to put more upgrades. Now, is there anything unique that you can do? Does it unlock any clues or anything? So far, not. But it's cool when you first walk in. You're in this really crappy little tiny, there's a lot of boards. Everything's just dilapidated. And as you start to invest and put more points into the base of operations, it starts to build up. New wings are open. You see people coming. You see, and you just get to watch this, and it really gives you this sense of this community RPG-esque type environment. I just happened to upgrade my facility, and I was walking back to check on some loot, and there was a line of people walking in front of me, and they were stopped. And I just stood there and watched them for a couple of minutes. The security patted them down, and the woman said, oh, I'm not going to hurt anybody. And he's like, oh, we'll be the judge of that. And it was just really neat. There's no quest to be given from her, but it really does flesh out that kind of lore and environment. And you see that you are starting to make a difference as refugees are coming to your safe haven, as the Division is doing their job in reclaiming the city, and your empire is slowly expanding and pushing back all these other villains who are out there for their own, their own different reasons. So, in that sense, it's definitely a lot of accomplishment, just in the sense of like you're building a community. But of course, the biggest sense of accomplishment is in building your character, and there is a slew of weapons and armors that you get to select from. They all have different types of modifiers. I think the primary gun has like 5 or 6 different modifiers. You have like your sight, you have like a different like suppressor, you have different handles, different ammo, different scopes. Armor has enhancements depending on how many slots you can put different things in and perk your armor. So if you want to be more aggressive, or you like to hip fire more, you like to iron sights more, if you like to take cover more, there's different perks for different things, and it really does let you customize your character to your playstyle. Now, as a Gears veteran, I love the old wall bounce, and nothing like giving me a Nasher, or in this case a shotgun, and letting me get up close and personal with the New York's most evil villains, and bouncing between walls like a madman, just taking out guys at point blank shotgun range. And there's a really good perk for me that allows me to, every time I enter cover for the next 5 seconds, I get more armor, I do more damage. So for me, that's something good. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, my friend Matt really likes to snipe. So there are different perks for sniping, and Kevin likes to snipe, and there's different perks for that. So if he wants to, not take damage for a certain amount of time, or remain in cover, or switch between weapons, or get a headshot, there are different things for that as well. Not just in terms of experience or how many credits you get, but actual physical perks to your character. So they really did a good job of letting you kind of customize your character in a way that best suits your play style. So all in all, I have to say it is a really good game. Now, I've been playing about 20 hours or so. We had a pretty long marathon session this weekend. I'm about halfway in terms of leveling, but I understand that the experience stacks, so I may only be a quarter way through the progress. I mean, the experience to get from level 1 to 2 may be 100. The level experience from level 20 to level 21 may be 1,000,000. I don't know, I'm making up a number, but my point is that it's going to take me a while to get to end game, and I'm not in any rush. I'm just enjoying it. The missions are a lot of fun. Like I said, if you're really into the lore and you're like a real buff, lore buff like I am, there's tons of cell phone tapes and collectibles and videos you can watch that kind of piece together what's happening, and you start to understand what is happening. Is there an ultimate resolution? I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. I'm sure there is. There are some expansions, and if you pick up the gold edition, you get the season pass for free. Yeah, well, not for free, you pay for it, it's part of the bundle. But so there are 4 expansions they've already laid out. Xbox One owners get the first 2 expansions for 1 month before the rest of us, but the following 2 expansions are free for everyone. So, or not free for everyone, but they all come out at the same time. So But right now, the core game, less than a week old. I'm having tons of fun with it. I really enjoy just going around, just checking out the Dark Zone, getting the best gear I can get for my character. I want to go back and play the original story missions on hard. I haven't done that yet. Bringing other characters up into the fold is a lot of fun, and it's also fun to just kind of hang out in the Dark Zone and just kind of like be the police in a sense, just kind of walk around and just kind of make sure people aren't doing anything fishy. And you do get experience for taking down rogue agents, achievement hunters. There's plenty of that stuff in there too. So tons and tons of fun. So if you like cover-based RPG, action, lore-based, modern, not space aliens based gameplay, I highly recommend you check out Tom Clancy's The Division. It is currently out on all major platforms. It's a lot of fun. If you got a couple extra bucks, I highly recommend you pick up the gold edition. It'll come with some extra armor, it'll come with some extra guns, it'll give you the season pass. It's a really, really good deal. If you have Gamers Club unlocked, you can pick it up less 20%. I don't know if Amazon does that. I know that they do it for box copies, not digital. So keep that in mind if you guys prefer Amazon or your local vendor of choice. But the getting's good in this game. I only think things are going to get better, and it's definitely a strong contender for those of us who are looking for that Destiny itch. This is definitely a strong contender to fill that gap until the guys at Bungie sort out what the hell they want to do next. So that's all I have. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side.